gue langsung maaf ya guys di TikTok.
Good evening everyone watching the live stream, and welcome to every single adventurers to the finals of the Crystal of Atlan Super Blend Cup PvP Team Medal Tournament. I'm your caster today, Abigail, and I also have my partner here.
I'm your co-caster, Bolton. Hi.
Yes, hello. This is going to be a very exciting day because we are going to witness who will be the champion of Super Blend Cup, especially for the PvP Team Battle Tournament. And in case all of you already gathered in here, don't forget to share and don't forget to follow, subscribe for every single thing that you can do. Don't forget to make sure you are keep updated with the newest information about Crystal of Atlan Super Blend Cup through our social medias.
And for the matches schedule, we're gonna have information about latest version updates and the tournament format video and other things. And we also have four gift for viewer rewards. So tell your friend to watch us and watch the tournament because today we're gonna crown the PvP team. Yeah?
Exactly. And for those who don't know or maybe are not familiar with what is this Super Blend Cup? The Super Blend Cup marks Crystal of Atlan's first official global large-scale tournament, to be honest, and featuring a dual category format, which is a PvP and also PvE, running in parallel. Today's is PvP schedule, but for tomorrow there will be PvE, and that will cover our four major servers. And this is something dedicated to delivering top-tier competitive experience, and especially esports and atmosphere to every single players and every single new players upcoming, and it has garnered consistent attention from gamers worldwide. So before the matches kick off, I would like to mention a newest collaboration between Crystal of Atlan and also Digimon Adventure. And this event runs from August 21st until September 17th. So you guys can participate in collaboration events for collab limited items and in-game rewards. You can raise your collaboration BB level by challenging the collaboration dungeon Final Battle Machine Dramon and obtain the Patamon bubble through the companionship summons event. And that's not all, to be honest, because we are going to prepare something big for you, because you guys can get ready to meet a classic Digimon Agumon or aka Wardragon and Gatomon, who can evolve as Angie Woman in the form of collaboration paths, and Garurumon, who will change to become Metal Garurumon as collaboration mouse.
And that's not all, we have a new class, Assassin. Pre-register now open. Your treasure sharp blades and strike down enemies from shadows. With tools like Unity and Speed offensive strike, the assassin delivers little blows before enemies will even blink. Walk in the shadows, strike with twin blades. The unique concealing mist skills allow Spectre to suddenly emerge from shadows to deal massive damage. So before quickly finishing once again, so this job can appear and disappear as you wish. So plan every strike on your confused enemies as you inflict massive damage with your Marked Heart passive. When the blades fly, there's nowhere to hide. Mirage can alternately cast Voltaic and Stygian skills to deal massive Electro and Umbro damage, while accumulating large amounts of Momentum Blade energy. Consume that energy to enhance and instantly cast Momentum Blade multiple times for big damage bursts. And for more info, please check out Crystal of Atlan's official social media. After the maintenance, please download the latest client to continue your experience, because you gonna need to update your client to try the new Assassin job. Infinite combos, endless adventure. Have a great journey, adventurers.
Yeah, and to make it easier for you all to understand what is this tournament, I would like to explain it in a video format, a tournament format explanation. So let's watch it.
Dear Adventures, Quest of Atlan Super Glenka S1 will officially kick off on August 2nd across 4 regions: Claudius, Ophelia, Polonus, and Moravia. The tournament is played into 2 tracks, a PvP team battle and a PvE race. Champions will be crowned during the online finals, September 13 to 14. The PvP team battle consists of 4 phases. Fort 5, August 7th to August 17th. Registered players will participate in the PvP solo ranked match. The squads will be ranked by their average matchmaking points. From Ophelia Group 1 and Ophelia Group 2, the top 50 squads from each will qualify. For other regions, the top 100 squads will advance. Promotion round, August 21 to August 27. Qualified squad players will participate in PvP team ranked matches. Squads will be ranked by their average matchmaking points. The top 8 squads from each region will advance to the next stage. While for Ophelia, Group 1 and Group 2 will each have their top 4 squads qualify. In elimination round August 30 to September 7, the qualified squads will be divided into 2 groups, competing in a round-robin BO3 points match within each group. Using the PvP team mode, the top 2 squads from each of these 2 groups will then advance to a BO5 elimination round, where they will cross-play. The winners of these 2 matches will qualify for the finals. Online finals. September 13th, the final 2 squads will compete in a BO7 match to determine the champion. VVE race qualifies August 7, 6 o'clock to August 19, 23:59. Regis here, he repeatedly participate in the in-game Queen Coronation and lead mode 8-player race within the time frame. Squads will be ranked by their best clear time. At top 100 squads from each region will advance to the next stage, promotion round, August 23 to August 29. Advanced squads can repeatedly participate in the in-game checkmate legendary mode 8 clear race within the time frame. The squads will be ranked by their best clear time, and the top 30 squads from each region will advance to the next stage in elimination round, September 3 to September 5. Advanced squads can repeatedly participate in the in-game Queen Coronation legendary mode 8-byte race within the time frame. Squads will be ranked by their best clear time, and the top 3 squads from each region will advance to the next stage. Online finals, September 14. Finalist squads will participate in 2 rounds of races, the crewing correlation and checkpoint. Their ranks will be decided by the sum of their clear times from both modes. The squad with the shortest total clear time wins the championship. These tournaments' rewards are supercharged with massive in-game resources, score tons of items, plus event-exclusive avatar frames, exclusive titles, exclusive Mordecais, and customized oral effects.
Yes, that's the tournament format of Crystal of Atlan Super Glen Cup, and this tournament also offers very generous rewards. In addition to abundant in-game resources and item rewards, the top 8 teams will earn tournament exclusive titles, monikers, and also avatar frames. And on top of that, the champion, the runner-up, and the third place teams will receive exclusive champion or for titles, and the Crimson Summit of Victory moniker, also not to mention to the A customized aura and the deluxe champion physical bundle. Tons of rewards for every single people in this Super Glen Cup. Well done.
Yes, they can blast the glory from the aura from the first runner-up and champion. They have the different aura from the third and through the 8th place. I mean, the 3rd and the 8th place didn't have a customized aura from the rewards, but it still have the exclusive title like Gale Judgment and Orange Moniker and Avatar Flame. And not to forget to mention they're gonna get the gold and the Arcanite of Brocade. So many rewards they're gonna get.
Exactly. And we will also prepare a redeem code for every single audience in this live stream. So make sure you stay tuned from the start until the end, because we will consecutively give you redeem codes to improve your BP power inside the game. And for today's schedule, we are going only have one match between FLiHoRa and also XOG as the finalists of PvP Team Battle Crystal of Atlan Super Glen Cup. And both of them has a very interesting storyline. Like, for example, XOG, who was from the Group A in the points-based elimination round, they advanced to the semifinals with 2 wins in 3 matches, defeating group mates Apadzala and Turu. In the semifinals, they faced SZX, a title contender with 3 consecutive wins. I mean, that was absolutely dominating and trailing in the score early on. XOG fought back fiercely and ultimately came back from a 2-0 deficit to win 3-2 by a reverse sweep. Very beautiful reverse sweep. I mean, earning their spot in the finals.
Yes, meanwhile, FLiHoRa in the point-based elimination round, they advanced to the semifinals with the same story, right, Abigail? With first, they're defeating the Hupeng Tuoyo and Shadow Wolves with 3 consecutive wins against Legend, and they eventually win 3-2 to reach the finals. As mentioned before in the earlier format intro, the PvP team battle finals use a best of 7 format. So the first team to secure 4 wins will claim the championship throne. Meanwhile,
Exactly.
the final tier data for the Crystal of Atlan in-game PvP champion prediction event is out. Look at that prediction, Abi.
Yeah, it's kind of very happy to FLiHoRa instead of a XOG. Will the result match what you Avengers predicted? I mean, you can just leave your predictions in the comment section, and that's way too nice to final outcome together. So, Adventurers, while watching the finals, don't forget to cheer for your favorite. To be honest, because this is going something that they need the most. They need your support, and don't forget to cheer for your favorite champion team and especially in the comments and chat. And since the finals are about to begin, first, let's recap the rosters and historical stats of tonight's 2 finalist team across the stages. Like from FLiHoRa, one of the top title contenders who advanced from the semifinal first. I mean, we have 4 players that consist of 4 different jobs in here, but personally, this kind of composition is very looking good and balanced because you almost have everything inside your lineup.
Yes, meanwhile in XOG, they have a Mistrix, Elementalist, Magiblade, and Sideguard in their composition. I mean, they're gonna have a balanced composition too because there's gonna be a Magiblade, a Sideguard for tanking and for support, and Mistrix and an Elementalist gonna have a high output burst. And
Yeah.
from the elimination round, total win rate from XOG is higher than the FLiHoRa.
Yep. But to be honest, I prefer the lineup from XOG because when you talk about the composition of the lineups, Psyker is a very flexible because she can support herself and also provide a good DPS. But on the other hand, Elementalist is very quite of meta currently because it's very easy to use, and not to mention the cast duration for each skills is also very convenient to play in in terms of PvP. But let's take a look at the top player list from FLiHoRa and also XOG. Judging by the power and or maybe more of like the average damage per match, yes, FLiHoRa sort of like a more dominating than XOG, but since this is the grand final of Crystal of Atlan Super Glen Cup, everything still can happen in both of them.
Yes, everything's gonna something's gonna happen, right? I mean, even the FLiHoRa dominating the board, I mean, from the XOG can make something in the upcoming match. So we don't know what we expect. I mean, and before we start the match, we're gonna have a few rewards tonight. This is the first viewer gift pack, so heads up, adventurers, we prepared 4 rounds of viewer gift pack. So without further ado, go redeem this EN1 PvP tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, just log in into the game, enter the redeem code below, and claim your reward rewards. And don't forget to share it to your friends, to your guildmates, or maybe to every single people who also play Crystal of Atlan. There's no good in gatekeeping information, so just share the code. And don't forget to share to the live stream and stuff, because we are preparing for this first match. And at the first match, to be honest, will also be very interesting to talk about it and also to discuss, because usually if you talk about the best of 7 series, this is going to be very long, but usually lots of people treat a first game from best of 7 series as a testing the water.
Yes. Yeah, I can wait to see the both of the teams gonna clash. I mean, it's 3v3 like now. Like FLiHoRa, they're gonna use a gunner, elementalist, and a side guard in this match, and XOG is gonna use Mistrix, elementalist, and Magiblade. Okay, look at that. We're gonna have a balanced matchup.
Yeah. To be honest, I prefer Mistrix over the Gunner. Well, yes, Gunner is a very delicate sniper on the back line, but Mistrix provide more flexibility rather than Gunner. But talking about Sideguard and also Magiblade, this is going to be very interesting because Sideguard can provide herself a support role, but on the other hand, Magiblade provides a very aggressive playstyle. So let's take a look on the first game between FLiHoRa and XOG in this Crystal of Atlan's Super Glen Cup. And without any further ado, every single people from FLiHoRa get very big damage, but they still can hold themselves inside the game.
Yes, and Miori EXO is gonna. We're gonna see that Miori EXO have a trouble back then. But yes, Lunaria and Zesta is already supporting Miori, so they're not taking away big help from Miori. Abi?
Yup, Lunaria EXO is kind of not looking really good in here, losing some of HP, and people from FLiHoRa starts to push, providing lots of pressure towards the XOG's player. And while on the other hand, FLiHoRa seems having a very good grip inside this game, and they try to strike towards the XOG's player, where they still could not make it because XOG find a way how to counter attack FLiHoRa, and now FLiHoRa suffers from lots of damage from XOG's player.
Lizzie Hop's on trouble. I mean, it's already half a health from Lizzie Hops. I mean, the XOG is really focused on Gunner from FLiHoRa, and the FLiHoRa is focused on Magiblade first. We can look that the elementalist from the both of the team is using Inferno to Lizzie Hops and Lunaria EXO back then.
Lizzie Hope find a very perfect spot to shot her way inside the battle between FLiHoRa versus XOG, but on the other hand, XOG taking a lot of damage from FLiHoRa, and it's not really looking good. They try to reposition every single person inside the arena, but FLiHoRa still trying to find a way how to create a good positioning for Lizzie Hope, but now XOG trying to focus on Lizzie Hope, the only damage carry from FLiHoRa, and now she is on the push.
Yes, and Ranizu is gonna be pivoted by XOG. They're gonna focus on Ranizu because Ranizu is almost 0 health, and yeah, still looking good, but not that good because Lunaria EXO is almost there.
Yeah, the perfect thing if you have a spike guard, and especially with the right combinations, you can also heal yourself with using the side guard, and not to mention the air defense and air attack, air combat from side guard is very good too. But on the other hand, XOG has a Mistrix, something which provides more flexibility rather than side guard. But what on earth is happening? Because we are going to see the victory from FLiHoRa.
1-0 for FLiHoRa. Because let's see back then, the elementalist gonna burst the Magiblade and the elementalist first, then the other Mistrix is confused because suddenly the two of the teammates is really down.
Yeah, I mean it's it's
Yeah.
very hard, to be honest, for both Mistrix and also a gunner to find a correct position to lay a damage towards your opponent. But on the other hand, this is something that I prefer to talk about between Magic Blade and also Sideguard. When you have a Sideguard, she can provide herself a support, she can heal herself, and but for Magic Blade, most of Magic Blades provide a very specific condition, because if you want to play as a Magic Blade, you have to rely very heavy on mechanic skill. So and it also requires a very precise combo. So if you miss a chain, you just lose the fights and you have to reset. And talking about the Super Clan Cup, and especially in this kind of intense level, you cannot just spend 1 second for nothing.
True, agree. I mean, the PvP one in this Crystal of Atlan Super Glen Cup is really depending on timing, really depending on accuracy for the skills that connect, and the movement. You're gonna need to mobilize your team in the exact position and exact movement, and really good strategy. And before we go to the second match, we're gonna have a highlight. So, without further ado, let's go for the highlight.
Well, ready for the highlight.
Yeah.
I mean, for the first game for FLiHoRa, it sounds, it felt like very dominating, but for XOG, to be honest, I still feel like they still have a chance, since this is a best of 7 series. I mean, are you talking about the best of 7 series? The first game, yes, can give you a moral boost towards your personal during the inside the game, but for the second match, well, in best of 7 series, everything still has a chance.
Yeah, the FLiHoRa team is really great at HP management, right? I mean, in the first half, in the first minute, they're having trouble from the XOG. They really got the first hit, and then there's a shift in the momentum that gonna have the FLiHoRa win this match. That's good.
Yeah, that's a very good start for FLiHoRa, and if they can keep up the momentum and also keep up the tempo in second game, that will be a handicap too for them. But for XOG, well, they did a very good job, to be honest. But one thing that I also noticed from the way FLiHoRa play inside the first game is how they utilize the gunner. So one of the skill from gunner is to knock up, and it creates a situation where XOG's players come up in one area, and the rest is history for the elementalist doing his job.
Yeah. Even the Magic Blade and the Mistrix can cover the elementalist from the other team, from the OCG that being focused on, right?
Yeah. For another part, I mean, Sideguard is also very aggressive, because one of the skill from Sideguard is to reach your opponent, and not to mention to the chain combo, even though it's kind of a complicated combo from Sideguard, but in terms of DPS, Sideguard also provides a very perfect amount of damage.
Agreed. I mean, from the elementalist, I really love to see the elementalist hitting the Inferno. 2 times I see the Inferno hitting the target, and the output from the Inferno is really great. That really helped FLiHoRa to win this match.
Yeah, not to mention the positioning of each players from FLiHoRa is also kind of very good to be kind of goodly executed. But for XOG, to be honest, I don't feel the presence of Mistrix a lot, because I feel like because the Mistrix is kind of get lots of pressures from FLiHoRa, and Magic Blade is already did his job, because he always strike in. He always strike it into the formation of FLiHoRa side. But if you talk about 3 versus 3 people, it doesn't matter about who's striking first. It always matters. The only thing that matters is just your positioning. So once your damage dealer cannot get a good positioning, and we are talking about the Mystics in here, that will be some problem. I mean, you have a good defense, you have a good entry, but if it's not combined with a good positioning for your damage dealer, the space for your damage dealer, that will be nothing.
Yeah, I mean the XOG taking the initiative for aggressive early game engage, right? But okay, nice try and well played for FLiHoRa.
Yeah, for FLiHoRa, this is going to be a very good start for them. And I'm not really sure if the second game, if XOG still play this kind of tempo, they can get or at least secure 1 point. That will be troublesome for them. But let's take a look at the highlight first. I really
There
love
it is.
the highlighted moment is when the gunner just knock one player from XOG and make the positioning of XOG is come up in one area, and the rest is the work of the elementalist from FLiHoRa to just lay every single skill that he have towards XOG's player. And the damage though from the elementalist of FLiHoRa is sort of like very dominating. But that's why I mentioned that Elementalist is kind of a meta in this PvP, because you don't have lots of you don't need lots of durations to make a combo from this Elementalist, and not to mention about the chain combo of Elementalist provide wide area towards your opponent.
Agreed. I mean, I kind of amazed for the Lunaria EXO for the Magiblade, because he got the perfect dodge 10 times. I mean, 2 digits is an awesome feat.
Yup, but this is going to be very hard position for XOG if they couldn't take down the Elementalists and also the Gunners, and they also need to watch out about the positioning of every single players, and especially talking about the Mystics, because if you take a look at the damage distribution from the Mystics, it is not something that you can expect from Mystics, because Mystics will be the source of damage too, besides Elementalists.
Agreed. But Elemental is dominating the battlefield. But before we go to the second match, we're gonna have a second viewer codes. It's now live, so limited quantities and first come first serve. So you guys have to redeem right now. Tell your other friend, tell your other group members, your fleet members, your Discord members. Log into the game, enter the redemption code below, and claim your viewer rewards. It's a PvP 913 COAEN.
Yeah, and as we're preparing for the second game of this best of 7 series between FLiHoRa and also XOG, I would like to ask for you guys support towards each team. Whether you support FLiHoRa, whether you support XOG, just give some support towards every single your favorite team. If you just want to enjoy this live stream, I mean, that's totally okay, because Crystal of Atlan's, or just create a very first global tournament, and this is a good start for Crystal of Atlan's player in worldwide too.
Yes, and right now all players are ready. In the meantime, we're gonna have to wait a bit before we begin the second match of the Crystal of Atlan Super Glen Cup PvP team battles. So we're gonna wait for them already, and 3 to 1, we're gonna see the second match upcoming. Let's go.
Yup, let's go. Who will win the second game of the best of 7 series Super Glen Cup by Crystal of Atlan's grand final. Will FLiHoRa secure the second point, or is it gonna be XOG's first point? This is something that we need to watch together. And don't forget to give your support for XOG and also FLiHoRa as the game already start.
Yes, we're gonna see who takes the initiative. The EXO gonna take the initiative first from the aggressive, but there's no skill connected, Ivy.
Yup, still not connected. But FLiHoRa, who already 1 point ahead from XOG, they play a little bit safe in here, but trying to find a way how to secure 2 players from XOG, and they kind of like find a way, but their positioning is kind of pressured by the XOG. XOG trying to strike their way in towards the FLiHoRa's player, and LazyHopes is now their main target.
Yes, I mean, the XOG is really aggressive in the second match. I mean, look at that. But the FLiHoRa for the defensive strategy is gonna be working, I guess, because we're gonna see the LazyHopes is the one in the trouble. Only LazyHopes. But they still have side guard for healing, and the HPN management from the FLiHoRa is really good. I mean, look at the LazyHopes is not in the trouble anymore. They're gonna stack 3 in there.
Yeah, they come in one area, and I don't feel like the Elementalists from XOG have a way or maybe have an idea how to take down those players from FLiHoRa. But on the other hand, the Elementalists from FLiHoRa already strike in towards the one player from XOG, creating a mess for Miori and also ZSSA EXO. And this is not looking good because Mistrix needs a very perfect positioning. But on the other hand, Miori got a very big pressure. He couldn't lay damage towards the FLiHoRa's player.
Yeah, they're gonna focus on the LazyHopes. As we can see, and Ranizu is in trouble trying to cover up for LazyHopes. But yeah, they're gonna chase by Miori and the Mistrix.
Oh my god,
Oh my god, the
the
information.
Elementalists did a very job, and now FLiHoRa's in pressure right now. They need to find a way how to get out win this mystery, but it looks like FLiHoRa doesn't need a big time, doesn't need a long time to cover or maybe figure out how to strike back towards the XOG's players. As we can see, the Mistrix from XOG kind of having a very hard time, find a very good positioning, and also not to mention the Miori, who always running and try to lay some abilities towards the FLiHoRa's player.
Right now it's gonna be 1v3 because the Ranizu and LazyHopes already down. We're gonna see the Elementalists from FLiHoRa really focusing on Mistrix, but yeah, the other 2 is covering for Zsa, so I think they're not in trouble.
Yeah, but the only one in trouble is the Elementalist from FLiHoRa. 2 people against 1. That's not looking good. But still, look how beautiful the Elementalist trying to escape. But I think that's not gonna make it because XOG finally secure the first point in this best of 7 series.
Yes, it's 1-1 for FLiHoRa and XOG. Yeah, in this match, in the second match, I see that the XOG is really taking the initiative, aggressive attack from the early into winning the second match.
Yup, and that kind of aggressive level is something that they actually need to do from the very start of game. But since they already know how fast the tempo from FLiHoRa, they can execute it very well on the second game, and not to mention how they just try to push every single player from FLiHoRa in one spot. Not to mention if there's one player outside the area of positioning from XOG's player towards the FLiHoRa, they just cover it very fast. So nice follow-ups and nice backups from every single player from XOG.
Yeah, and nice accuracy for the skill. I mean, there's many skills that connect to FLiHoRa, so the side guard from FLiHoRa is really having a trouble to run away from them and joining the fray.
Yep, well, To be honest, I also noticed that FLiHoRa try their best. They really tried their best to find a good positioning, especially for the Gunner, because they want to flip the table towards the XOG. But sadly, XOG on the second game is always one step ahead. So once you got your positioning crumbled to the ground by your opponent, it's very hard for you to repositioning, and that's something that FLiHoRa kind of struggle with on the second game.
Yeah, I mean, from FLiHoRa, I can say that solid defensive play, but for the counter attacks, is really not getting the timing right because the aggressive style from the XOG is really taking dominating battlefield.
Yup, and I mean, looking the different tempo from XOG, this something that kind of give me lots of optimism because, well, to be honest, losing the first game is something that you actually want to avoid because it will affect your tempo for some people. But I'm very glad to see that XOG can come back really strong on the second game. So since 2 games has already passed, and we couldn't call it as best of 7 series anymore because we have to call it as a best of 5 series because their score is already even. And not to mention, I'm talking about the different tempos between every single players from the first game and also the second game. But let's take a look at the highlight in case you just joined in this live stream.
Ooh, I mean, Mio, we really connected all the skills in the late game. So he take down the side guard and gunner almost at the same time and becoming a MVP with a total damage 178,000.
Yeah. Yep, and the performance of FLiHoRa is kind of very different with the first game that we just watched because Lazy Hopes and also the players that using Elementalist is finding very hard time to secure a positioning, and the sideguard. This is the second time I saw the sideguard from FLiHoRa only secure less than 1,000 damage. Well, this is not something that you always expect from sideguard. Yes, sideguard provides a decent damage based on the chain combo, but the chain combo from sideguard is kind of complicated, and the role of sideguard here is to as a semi support. So she will provide good positioning for the Lazy Hopes, but for on the other hand, XOG, the Magi Blade is very one of the most aggressive player from XOG is the Magi Blade, so this is going to be very hard time for sideguard as well.
Yeah, agree. We can see that Lunaria is really searching for the side guard everywhere he go. He's gonna chase it. And right now, they're getting ready for the third match. The FLiHoRa versus XOG, there's no change in the composition. They're still using a Gunner, Elementalist, and side guard. Meanwhile, the XOG using a Mistrix, Elementalist, and Magi Blade, Abi.
Yes, and don't forget to support your favorite team, whether it's FLiHoRa and XOG, because we are going to start the third game. The score currently 1-1. It's very even score, and look at inside the game, the positioning between FLiHoRa and also XOG already clashing, colliding towards each other, because XOG find a very hard time here. Lunaria and also the Mistrix from XOG kind of pressured by the performance of FLiHoRa's Elementalist and also Gunner. Seems like FLiHoRa get their grip back again from the first game.
Yeah, look at the Ranizu, the side guard from the FLiHoRa is really taking an initiative first, like taking the Lunaria, Exo, the CC, and the damage burst. I mean, it works. And after they take the aggressive output, they're gonna join again, together again to rebuff and reheal and HP management. Whoa, nice one from FLiHoRa.
Yeah, that was a very nice one from FLiHoRa, but also very nice from XOG because they always focus on the Elementalist. They could not let the Elementalist to do his job, and now is the perfect time from FLiHoRa because XOG just let the Elementalist find a perfect position to drop the chain combo of his skills, and now XOG is not looking good. They are pressured to the corner, and what will XOG do?
Yeah, at first I thought that the Mystics is gonna be focused on, but yeah, the Mystics is just really distracting. So the Elementalist from the FLiHoRa is taking care of the Mystics, and the other FLiHoRa is taking care of Miori EXO. But yeah, still can cover it, the Lunaria.
Yeah, I can feel the XOG's positioning and also the formation is already breakdown to the ground, because if you take a look how the positioning of each player from XOG, they're not really focusing on pressuring FLiHoRa anymore, because more like they want to secure their own life. They want to regrouping as fast as possible, but FLiHoRa noticed that point and they just want to let it happen, and that's why FLiHoRa kind of having a good grip inside this third game. And now the Elementalist find a very free spot, provided supported by the Lazy Hopes on the backside, and this is not looking good again for XOG. The players from XOG is already taken down one by one, and they have no idea how to counterattack FLiHoRa.
Yeah, and the Miori thought they're gonna focus him, but nah, the FLiHoRa changing to Mystrix, and they're gonna be in trouble because they already joined together and really regrouping. Lazy Hopes with a gun. Wow, this is not looking good for FLiHoRa. For XOG, I mean, sorry.
Very low HP from XOGs, and that concludes the third game. Probably.
Yeah.
Yes, FLiHoRa
Well played.
will take the third game. And
Yeah,
the
well
score
played.
now-
Well played from FLiHoRa. For real, I love to see the side guard, because the side guard really active from supporting, from damaging, and taking initiative, the movement, the precise skills. Wow, I mean, good.
Yeah, and to be honest, I noticed that two things happen on both parties. Like XOG noticed that the core of FLiHoRa is the Elementalist, so they really want to separate the Elementalist from the Gunner and also the side guard. Make sure they have to face two people versus one situation. But on the other hand, XOG noticed that the Elementalist is always someone who XOG just hunt down, so they just create a situation, create a conditioning where sideguard is the decoy towards the XOG's player, and the gunners will support the Elementalist on the back, and that's the moment where Elementalist can find a perfect spot to create a chain combo towards XOG's player. On the other hand, XOG's players did a very good job back then by separating each player from FLiHoRa's, but on the other hand, they kind of missed the tempo, because once the Magic Blade run towards the Elementalist, there's no one who back up the Mystrix, and Mystrix already have a very bad positioning, judging by the Skyguard always chasing towards the Mystrix.
Yeah, agree. I mean, that's a great idea to make the side guard the decoy. I mean, for the gunner, zoning the XOG for the Elementalist to survive is really great idea too. I mean, for zoning, I mean, gunner is really good for zoning too.
Yep, and the third game seems, for me, it felt like very not a competitive, more intense rather than the other games, because you can see how XOG tried to make a different approach towards the FLiHoRa. As we are preparing for the highlights, I would like to ask for every single audience to support both XOGs and also FLiHoRa. But let's take a look at the highlights.
There it is. The Lazy Hopes from the Gunner is gonna be an MVP because the Lazy Hopes really zoning out the XOG, so she can cover the Elementalist with a 156,000 with total damage. But look at the Miori XO perfect dodge with a 17 perfect dodge, Abi.
Yeah, 70 perfect dodge and the total damage from Miori. He tried his best to lay damage towards the FLiHoRa. I mean, Elementalist playing a very important role in here, but in terms of chemistry and also the positioning and reset inside the game between pressures, FLiHoRa just one step ahead against XOG on the third game. And I would not be surprised if XOG can secure the fourth game, to be honest, because judging with the performance from the last 3 matches, they seem like a team who often to change the tempo.
Yeah, I mean, even the FLiHoRa is really adaptable with XOG strategy. Like in the third match, they really go aggressive too, like XOG, not defensive like a second match. From the second match, they're really passive and trying to counter attack with the timing, but it doesn't work like that. And XOG is gonna be dominating the second match, but for the third match, FLiHoRa is really good at taking aggressive and initiative from the Ranizu as the side guard.
Yep, and it's kind of sad to be honest for XOG because they try to they really try to do the same kind of method like what they did like second game, like a very aggressive approach using the Magic Blade and make sure Mystics have a good position, and Miori as the Elementalist find a good spot to cover and also adding more damage by the support from the Mystics. But once they crumble, they cannot reset and they just couldn't handle the pressure. That's something that XOG missed on their third game.
Yeah, agree. I mean, they're gonna have to change the strategy again for the fourth match, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
after 3 games, the score stands 2 versus 1 for the favor of FLiHoRa. So let's do a quick recap of the action so far. The MVP, I think the Elementalist from the FLiHoRa, even though the Miori XOG is really good at bursting and doing the burst damage and big DPS.
Yeah, and that's conclude the first half of the Super Glen Cup. And let's take a short break and get ready for the exact second half. We're gonna come back after this.
Who's there?
So, this is my stage, hmm? Well then, let's dance.
It's a cop! Over there!
Well, well, well. Looks like we got a bad kitty here, eh?
Get it done ASAP.
Done? Oh, I haven't even warmed up. me send you to sleep.
Heads up, new job just came in.
Let's hope it's fun this time. He's fast. He came out of nowhere and vanished.
An invisibility.
Left countless fallen enemies in the blink of an eye.
Wow, unbelievable!
I'll tell you more about them some other day.
Miss, please tell us more about the mysterious Shadow Blade now.
When Nino gets back, I'll tell you more.
Strange. Is that all?
Rat. It's not over yet!
Come at me!
Just give up. No one leaves the Eagle Nest alive.
No! Too bad. I'm the exception.
What?
Welcome back, adventurers tuning into the stream. This is Crystal of Atlan Super Glen Cup PvP Team Battle Finalist. Back with me, Abigail, your caster, and also my partner here.
I'm Bolton as your co-caster.
Yeah, and the first half was packed with high-octane action and thrilling moments. Right now, FLiHoRa is leading against XOG with a 2-1 score. Will XOG try to find a way, or maybe find a way how to make the score even again, or probably is it gonna be the win of FLiHoRa? And right there moment, this is going to be very exciting because I would like to see which team will ride the momentum to secure the title in one go, and who will overwhelming the opponents. And all of this suspense will be resolved in the second half. So let's check out the game's latest version updates first, because I would like to re-announce again about the collaboration between the Crystal of Atlas and Digimon Adventures collaboration, because this is the very exciting yet nostalgic collaboration. Who didn't watch Digimon back then when they were a kid?
Yes.
I don't think none of us did not watch Digimon back then. Okay,
Yes,
and
got 'em on all the way.
yeah. And this Digimon Adventure collab runs from August 21st until September 17th. So you can guys just participate in collaboration events for collab limited items. And in-game rewards, of course, just raise your collaboration BP level by challenging the collaboration dungeon final battle mission Dramon, and obtain Patamon bubble through the companionship summons event. And that's not all, because you have to get ready to meet the classic Digimon like Agumon, Gatomon, Garurumon for collaboration months. And we will also announce a new class here, aka Assassins, and you all can pre-register now open, because the Wild Razor Sharp Blades and Strike Down Enemies from the Shadows is upcoming inside the Crystal of Atlas game. And with ghosts like agility and swift offensive strikes, the assassin delivers lethal blows before enemies could even blink. I mean, you already saw it on the TVC during the break session. And as you walk in the shadows, you can strike with twin blades. The unique concealing mist skill allows Spectre to suddenly emerge from shadows to deal massive damage before quickly vanishing once again. So you can plan every strike on your confused enemies as you inflict massive damage with your Merit Card passive. And when the blades fly, there's nowhere to hide from the assassin, because mirrors can already alternately cast Voltaic and Stygian skills to deal massive electro and umbra damage while accumulating large amounts of momentum blade especially. So for more info, don't forget to check out Atlan's official social media.
True. Check all the social media, and after the maintenance, please download the latest client. Before we go to the fourth match, there's a few rewards again for the third few rewards. Here it comes, PvP Final GO3. Is it O or 0?
Yup. Don't forget to log into the game, redeem the redemption code below, and claim your free rewards. And don't forget to share it to your friends as we're preparing for the fourth game of today. The second half is going to start, and I mean, I'm looking what kind of approach that XOG will play towards the FLiHoRa, as FLiHoRa already leading 1 point. Well, to be honest, on the third game, that was a very beautiful approach from both sides. But FLiHoRa is just one step better than XOG.
Agreed. And this is the FLiHoRa and XOG composition with the same composition. FLiHoRa using Gunner, Elementalis, and Sideguard, and XOG using Mistrix, Elementalis, and Magic Blade still. So the XOG is gonna have to stir things up because FLiHoRa is really taking the initiative from the third match. So let's go, 3, 2, 1, and game on for the fourth match. Let's go.
Yeah, before the game starts, and without any further ado, every single players inside the game between FLiHoRa and also XOG just strike towards the opponent. FLiHoRa making the first attack towards XOG, but still XOG trying to defend as well as possible. But Miori on the other hand, the only elementalist from XOG, seems like having a very hard time because every single person from FLiHoRa more likely focusing on the elementalist and also the Lunario EXO as the magic platform XOG.
Yeah, the Mystic is really isolated from their teammates. From the Lazy Hops, the Gunner versus the Mistrix, as we can see it, they're really 1v1.
Yep. The battle between the shooters from both sides are very interesting to talk about. Let's move on about this part because Miori, the elementalist from XOG, trying to strike a combo towards FLiHoRa, but FLiHoRa do a very good job by canceling it. Lazy Hops trying to take down the Mistrix from XOG. Everyone facing one each other, but now the focus from Lazy Hops just moved to the other players, but he just thought, oh no, that could not be like this, and they just repositioning. FLiHoRa find a way how to strike back towards the players from XOG. Every single players from XOG almost come up in one area, and now there begins the elementalist trying to do his job, and every players from XOG are now separated. They find a way how to attack back the FLiHoRa, but it is not going to be very convenient for XOG to find a repositioning, because each time they want to climb, there will be a player from FLiHoRa.
Yeah, the thing's not looking good for XOG because the XOG trying to take the initiative right now, but they got countered by FLiHoRa. Like Elemental is gonna miss the timing from the Miori and get punished from FLiHoRa.
Yup. The Magic Blade tried to become the front line for XOG, but taken down by FLiHoRa. Couldn't make it, and I think it's going to be a dead call for the Lunario EXO. But now FLiHoRa changed their focus towards the other player, which is the Mistrix, who cannot lay any damage towards FLiHoRa's member. And after the takedown, the Mistrix, they start try to focus to Lunaria, and now it ends up with the only Elementalist from Exoji. Will he make it?
Miori!
I guess not. And now it secures the third point for FLiHoRa.
Yeah, it's really well played from the gunner. I mean, the zoning, the burst damage from the gunner is really there. I mean, like the Magic Blade is really burst, and the Elementalist, the last one standing, is really hard. Have a hard time to dodge every single skills because there's a three player that he have to avoid.
Yeah,
Wow, I mean, the burst really.
yeah, that was a very intense game to be honest for me, between FLiHoRa and also XOG at the start. But as the time went by, it became a full domination from FLiHoRa because I noticed that actually Axoji had a very good momentum where Miori as the elementalist from Axoji can strike his abilities towards FLiHoRa's members, but it's just something that Exoji is lacking of the awareness because FLiHoRa aware that the once the elementalists already flying on the air, they just focusing their damage towards this player, and that's the only momentum that actually Exoji have to strike down the FLiHoRa, and if they miss it, the game is over, and the rest is like what we saw before.
Yeah, it's really interesting game because in this game they at the first they really 1v1 each member and then they regrouping, but then the elementalist Miori is there's one time Miori missed the skills and get counter and punished, and there's the blunder there. They really he really get punished by them and letting the FLiHoRa regrouping again, and they really stack, so they have a solid defensive. So from the XOG can't really have an aggressive tactics again because the solid defense from the FLiHoRa is really really good. They have a side guard for the buff, and they have elementalist for zoning and gunner for the burst and zoning. So yeah, well played.
Yeah, it's very hard to be honest for the exogy sites to be honest to play against this kind of combination, even though I still prefer to have the combination of exogy's side. That's just my opinion, so don't take it personally, guys. And on the other hand, exogy tried his best to strike a momentum first because they always utilize the magic blade. The magic blade always open first, and he always become the enter fragger towards the horror side. But on the other hand, once the magic blade strike in, there's nothing to cover. No one will cover the elementalist. No one can open the space for the elementalist as the other players from FLiHoRa always notice they once the magic blade comes in, they just need to separate these elementalists from the mystics, and that's going to be very exciting too. Looking forward to the fifth game, but let's take a look at the highlight.
There it is, the highlight for FLiHoRa and XOG. Yeah, the gunner again gets the MVP with the 164 total damage, and for the XOG, the magic blade is really, really like an eel. Yeah, it's really smooth with the perfect dodge. I mean, he always, almost always, get the 2 digits of perfect dodge.
Yep, because that's something that you can expect from Magic Blade. Because Magic Blade players requires a skill set of mechanic because Magic Blade is down to individual performance. If you miss the momentum, you just lost the game. If you miss the chain combo, you
Yeah,
lost the game. And
really.
if you cannot keep up with the a mechanic skill of Magic Blade, your Magic Blade will be useless. So having Magi Blade is sort of like a double-edged sword. If you have a very good player to play Magi Blade, he will become a monster. But if your Magi Blade is not good enough with in terms of mechanics, well, Magi Blade is just a big blade.
Yeah, I agree of that statement. I mean, the magic blade is really double-edged sword because if the hitting and the mechanic is there, he's gonna be a great asset for the team. But the FLiHoRa, the gunner, the Lizzie Hope is really great using the gunner. I mean, the mechanism for the gunner, even though they have to the condition for the overloading and the firepower is really great for damage outburst and zoning. So look at that. The XOG got burst from the gunner, even though they're trying to burst Lizzie Hops and take down Lizzie Hop first. But Lizzie Hop get covered from the Elementalist and the side guard.
Yeah, and the only thing that FLiHoRa needs to do is just avoid the Magi Blade. Yes, the Magi Blade is very annoying towards the FLiHoRa, but if you can ignore this Magi Blade, you can focus your damage towards the Elementalist who provides the biggest amount of damage. And on the other hand, you just have to create a situation, create a conditioning towards the Mistrix to make sure she's not feel safe anymore whenever she goes every single spot inside the arena. And once the Mistrix already get overthink about what should she do, everything is very easy for FLiHoRa.
Yeah, the FLiHoRa is really versatile in this composition. They can be a solid defensive team, and they can be an aggressive and DPS offensive team. It's really versatile, looking good with side guard, elementalist, and gunner right there.
Yup. As we talk about the preparation for the fifth game, this is going to be a warning for XOG because FLiHoRa only need 1 point away to become the champion of this PvP.
True, agree. I mean, the XOG really have turned the tides right now for this match to even the odds. I mean, 3-1 is not looking good. I mean, 3 is already 3. The FLiHoRa only need 1. And then they are crowned as a champion there.
Yeah, so XOG really need the magic in here because they need to do a reverse sweep if they want to become the champion of this PvP Super Clan Cup tournament. They don't have any chance left because the 1/5 from FLiHoRa is already on the podium.
Yeah, only 1/5 more to get the crown for the championship this Super Glen Cup for the PvP content.
Yeah,
FLiHoRa?
And this is also the very right time for every single XOG's fans to give a support for XOG because they really need it right now. This is a very crucial time, very essential for XOG to secure at least 1 point to prolong their presence in the Super Glen Cup PvP tournament. But let's prepare for the fifth game between FLiHoRa versus XOG. Will FLiHoRa close the game or XOG will prolong their life and breath in this Super Grand Cup?
Yes, and there's some different composition for FLiHoRa and XOG. For FLiHoRa, they changed the gunner into the warlock, and the XOG changed the magic blade into the side guard. It's really interesting in the last match for the FLiHoRa. So, yeah, XOG gonna turn the tides, Avi.
Yup, last minute change from FLiHoRa. Probably they would just want to secure it very quickly, but let's take a look at the 3-1 point positioning from FLiHoRa and also XOG, and that was a very aggressive approach from FLiHoRa, but sadly the warlock is the first to die inside the arena. XOG seems very good in here. Finally they have a spot, they have a chance to strike back towards the FLiHoRa, but what will happen next? Because Miori seems like haven't casted a chain combo towards the FLiHoRa players, but on the other hand, FLiHoRa seems having a very hard time to regrouping the Warlock in here, with all eyes on this Warlock, and probably this is going to be a good start for FLiHoRa because the Warlock find a perfect spot because they just strike in towards the Exoge's formation.
Yeah, the Warlock is really aggressive right now because the Warlock is really diving in and diving out right there, and right then the team members following up the Warlock. That's a great strat, even though it's not looking good because they right now not on the front. Like Ranizu and Namehope is almost a half-life.
Yup, FLiHoRa. They're now changing the gunner to become a warlock. It seems like they just want to provide survivability and also support for the elementalist, but I don't see it as a good momentum. But now every single player from Exoge trying to strike again towards the formation of FLiHoRa, and Namehope aka the Warlock trying to cast his ability, and Exoge seems like they are not really bothered with that. But on the other hand, FLiHoRa's players Ranizu and also Namehope are now in critical condition, but still they try his best to attack the players from Exoge.
Ooh, that's a big damage from the FLiHoRa. The Exoge is taking a big chunk of damage right there.
Yup, FLiHoRa and also Exoge, they try to repositioning, but Miori find a ways. Looks like he found a momentum, but now the clash between these two teams is unavoidable. They are now attacking each other, but the elementalist is now casting his spells but got cancelled by the Exoge.
Yeah, the Warlock is really aggressive in here, and Sideguard really haven't effective in this battlefield. I mean, for the Exoge and both for the FLiHoRa. Having a Sideguard really is an asset for buff, for the heal. So the HP management for the both of the team is really good right now, Adi.
Yup, but DLWJ as the Sideguard from Exoge could not be revived anymore, and now down to 2 players from Exoge, but FLiHoRa try their best to at least taking down 1 more player from Exoge. Skill by skill casted towards Exoge. Exoge tried his best to run toward from the FLiHoRa's players, and this situation kind of very low in here. The tempo is very slow because this is the the game where FLiHoRa needs to decide whether they want to close this game or not.
Yes.
They have the chance. They have the big chance, but now the Elemental is striking 1 player. The Mystics from Exoge is already down. 3 versus 1. Not looking good. Miori, you need to give up your life because 3 against 1 is too big to handle. And now we have the champion of the Super Grand Cup. Welcome, FLiHoRa.
Congratulations, FLiHoRa, for the 4-1. I mean, well played for FLiHoRa and nice try for Exoge. And here it is, the champion for Super Glen Cup PvP Team Battle Finals. Congratulations, FLiHoRa!
Yup, congratulations to FLiHoRa for claiming the Crystal of Atlan Super Glen Cup PvP Team Battle Finals Championship. To all viewers watching, let's give the loudest applause and cheers to our champion team, FLiHoRa. Congratulations to them for earning the highest honor in Crystal of Atlan, the championship throne. This glory is theirs, and it's also for every adventurer who cheered them on. I mean, that was a beautifully executed by FLiHoRa. The last game is one of it, the slowest one, but it required lots of chemistry. I mean, it requires a very solid chemistry from each player. It requires a very aggressive approach, yet a very solid awareness from FLiHoRa.
Agreed. I mean, the Warlock is really diving in, diving out to scouting the CC there, the damage output from the Elementalist, and the support from the side guy is really there. The chemistry is strong. Even though there's no Lazy Hop as a gunner for the zoning, they changed the situation and the strategy into the aggressive DPS for the offensive output. Well played, well played.
Yup, and that was a very clever idea from the side of FLiHoRa because if you want to put a Warlock inside your lineup, changing the gunner towards the Warlock, I feel like they just want to supply more support towards the Elementalist, and to be honest, it doesn't work. It didn't work really well at first, but once they got the momentum, they just did not waste the time and they just punished back towards the XOG. XOG did a very good job, to be honest. They also maintained the situation to become even until the very last time. But sadly, once the mistakes go away, or side guard, once the side guard is not revivable anymore, everything just decided.
Yeah. Even when the side guard from the XOG is taking down, it's really not great for the XOG, and for the HP management for the XOG is really bad because there's no buff, there's no heal again. Even though the FLiHoRa still have the side guard that can buff, even though the Warlock is low on health, even though the Elementalist is low on health, the side guards really gonna feel the support there.
Yeah, and that made us witness countless streaming showdowns, to be honest, and custom build clashes, strategy back and forth from each game that passed. And tonight wasn't just a tournament, to be honest, for me. It was a display of people giving it their all for a shared goal to become a champion. Every play embodied what teamwork truly means, and that's what you can see from FLiHoRa as the champion of today's PvP tournament battles. And talking about FLiHoRa, I really love how they just switching it to a very difficult job, because work, to be honest, from my opinion, is the hardest one to master after Magiblade. Well, you certainly need a mechanics when you want to play Warlock, because Warlock requires a good positioning, good timing too. But on the other hand, it is very blessed to have this battle between FLiHoRa and also XOG. So congratulations once again for FLiHoRa. And now that the champion is announced, we are releasing the Ultimate Championship Reward rewards. So this is limited quantities, first come first serve as usual. So just log into the game, enter redemption code below, and claim your fewer rewards. Last but not least, as we're preparing for the highlights, I also want to highlight the performance of XOG. They really try their best to find a different approach for every single game, and that was beautifully executed from XOG, even though the result is not there.
Yeah, it's really great and beautiful. Strategy is there, but they got countered from the FLiHoRa. The FLiHoRa is really counter-attacking and the counter-stratting. The XOG, they have a great strategies. I think the FLiHoRa change things up. The fifth match, like using Warlock that hard to hit the skills, like you said back then. That's interesting to see the FLiHoRa really taking the risk like that for the last point, and it works.
Yeah, it works very well. But that was beautiful. And what's more beautiful is I would like to invite you all to watch the highlights. Let's check it out.
it is, the highlight reels. And right now we have the post-match stats. Like the MVP is still the Elementalist from the FLiHoRa with total damage 200,000. And look at that Warlock that diving in and diving out with 24 perfect dodge. Wah,
Now you see what I'm talking about.
True.
Warlock is the second hardest to master. But once you master Warlock, you become a beast, not only a monster. And it requires a mechanic as well to play Warlock rather than Magic Blade. Yes, Magic Blade is very mechanic heavy, but look at this Warlock! 24 perfect dodge. Beautiful.
But, yeah, he has a precise movement, I guess. The 24 perfect dodge is not easy feat to achieve, man.
Yup. And thank you so much for the performance of XOG. On the other hand, that was a very good game too from the side of XOG. I can see how hard they are to try find a way, trying different approach, how to secure at least 1 point, 2 points. But this is not the end, to be honest. There will be more seasons from Crystal of Atlans, and let's also congratulate the adventurers who cheered for Team FLiHoRa in the PvP Champion Predictions event. So well done to you guys. And finally, for every single person in this live stream, I really love and enjoy my time here covering the best of 7 series between FLiHoRa and also XOG. That was a very nice and blessed looking a solid mechanic from each players from FLiHoRa and the side of XOG. So thank you so much for every single team who are participating in this Crystal of Atlans Super Glen Cup. Your incredible performance made this unparalleled esports spectacle. That was very enjoyable and beautiful.
Yeah. Agree. These really wonderful moments from the XOG, from the FLiHoRa. And can't wait to see tomorrow brings. Because today we have round PvP. And tomorrow we're gonna have
a PvE. And PvE will bring us a different kind of thrill because you actually try your best to become the fastest, and this is requires a solid chemistry and also command from every single person inside the party, and I can't wait to see that tomorrow. So this is not the only day of the tournament from Super Glen Cup, because tomorrow on the same schedule we will have the same exciting tournament.
Yes, we're gonna have PvE with the 3 teams, from the 3 teams. There's gonna be 2 dungeons, and we're having a sneak peek right now for tomorrow. So
yeah,
don't
we
forget
can't wait
to
to
watch.
witness the rise of more teams in future tournaments, to be honest, both in PvP or PvE. We look forward to the next Crystal of Atlan PvP event. So, that concludes the day. We already got our champion by scoring a 4-1 towards XOG. Our champion FLiHoRa just very dominating in this PvP event. And thank you so much for every single audience who are joining us from the start until the end. Last but not least, thank you for you all company and support, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye. 耶，多谢，
Alhamdulillah.
多谢姐姐哥哥，辛苦了。我想打羽毛球，耶，可以打羽毛球。没关系。
Thank you so much for today. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Eve. Langsung siap-siap kan lo, Mak?
Nah, gue cabut dulu. Bye-bye.
Oke, hati-hati, Mak. Gue juga nge-gym sekarang gue.
Gas.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Eve, again. See you.